Joshua Zirkzee. Exactly where is he going to play for Manchester United? Are Manchester United going to have to adopt a new system to accommodate him? Will Zirkzee help to get the best out of Rasmus Højlund? Is Erik Ten Hag capable and adept at allowing Joshua Zirkzee to be the player that a lot of people are suggesting he can be? This signing of Joshua Zirkzee from Manchester United is incredibly exciting for them. They have signed a young, prodigious talent who, if utilised correctly, could be the difference maker in helping Manchester United get back to the club that they once were. But there are so many questions about Joshua Zirkzee, all of the ones that we've covered already, and so many more. How will he take to the Premier League, for example? So, to fully understand exactly who Zirkzee is, exactly what he will bring to this Manchester United team, we have to do a deep dive to try and understand exactly who he is. Now, people on the continent have been aware of Zirkzee's brilliance and potential since he was 5 years old. It wasn't until he was about 16 that he was on the radar of English clubs. That's right, in 2017, weirdly, he lined up alongside Anthony Gordon for Everton in an under-19s tournament against Academy Pandev, a team from North Macedonia. The tournament was taking place in Prague, and guess what? Zirkzee was having an unsanctioned trial at Everton. So Everton Football Club were really keen to have a look at him, but Zirkzee himself hadn't told his parent club. His parent club were Feyenoord, and he wanted to get out of that club, whatever it took. So he went to play for Everton. It actually worked out for Zirkzee. He didn't get the move to the Premier League, but he did end up forcing his way out of Feyenoord, getting a move to the Goliath that is Bayern Munich. On his debut, he scored a hat-trick for their reserves, and then in 2019, he made his Bayern Munich debut, playing for them in the Champions League against Tottenham Hotspur. Then for Zirkzee, it didn't go well. He had a major setback. He went on a disastrous loan to Parma, where he suffered a major injury, but it all improved, thanks to the tutelage of Vincent Kompany. That's right. In 2021-22, playing for Anderlecht, he scored 16 goals and contributed 11 assists. All of a sudden, Zirkzee is on the radar of all of Europe's top clubs. So Zirkzee left Anderlecht and signed for Bologna for 7 million quid. But guess what? You've got to get up very early in the morning to keep up with Bayern Munich. Bayern knew how good Zirkzee was going to be and inserted a 50% sell-on clause, which meant that Bayern Munich have just received about 20 million quid from Manchester United for doing virtually nothing. So, Joshua Zirkzee is now a Manchester United player. What is he going to bring to that side? I'll tell you what, because he's big, because he's 6'4", the easiest thing to do when you see a player of that stature who plays up front is to think of them simply as a target man, a straight-up number 9, a centre-forward comparable to Niall Quinn or Duncan Ferguson. Well, guess what? Simply being 6'4" does not mean that anymore, and looks can be very deceptive. Because although he's big, although he is quite gangly, he's a baller on the floor. Quick feet, explosive pace, the ability to drop a shoulder, the ability to beat a man. Think of Zirkzee as a street footballer. You know those iconic Cruyff cages? I love them. I really want to play in them one day. Have you seen them? They're dotted all over Holland. Think of the most silky, skillful, unpredictable, mercurial talent that plays in those kind of cages, where nutmegs are celebrated like goals, where the feet can be so quick they leave defenders perplexed, bamboozled, dazzled at the brilliance. Zirkzee, although big, he's a footballer from the Cruyff cages of Rotterdam, and it tells in the way that he plays the game. So don't think of Zirkzee as your archetypal number 9. Think of Zirkzee as Ronaldinho. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to come at me here. Rory, you're talking in hyperbole. Rory, stop giving it the big one. Rory, slow down. You can't bring up Ronaldinho. It's not my words. His manager at Bologna, the one and only Thiago Motta, said that he reminded him of Ronaldinho. Now, let's remember, Thiago Motta and Ronaldinho played together. So these words do actually echo. They do actually matter. Now, look, I do appreciate that it's unwise and probably unhelpful to start with these comparisons, but I do think that it is indicatory of the player that Zirkzee could be, that a player of Thiago Motta's calibre is suggesting that there is at least a grey area of the Venn diagram of Zirkzee and the Venn diagram of Ronaldinho. But even if there isn't, that is the way that you have to think of Zirkzee. Don't think of him as a number 9. Think of him as a creator as much as a finisher. Basically, he's not the big man up front, and that's good for Manchester United because Manchester United already have an orthodox centre-forward. Rasmus Højlund is that, isn't he? Rasmus Højlund, at his most poetic best, is your standard centre-forward. Decent with his back to goal, decent finisher, strong in the air, strong with his back to goal. If you boil Rasmus Højlund down and try and give one answer of what Rasmus Højlund does, I think he is standard number 9. Zirkzee could allow him to flourish. There was a lack of creativity at Manchester United last year. There was a lack of unpredictability at Manchester United last year. There was a lack of genuine, impulsive, exciting footballers. Fernandes is excellent, but it was too one-dimensional, and he could benefit from having someone else around him, not only because of what he will bring to the team, but if defences are preoccupied with Zirkzee, it could open up some room for Bruno Fernandes and vice versa. However, some more good news for Manchester United. As much as I'm saying that Zirkzee isn't your archetypal number 9, he can play there, not in the traditional sense, but he can certainly lead the line in a false 9 sort of way. He played up front on his own a lot of the time for Bologna and Thiago Motta last year, but he was given the freedom to drop deep, the freedom to shape the attack, the freedom to knit the attack together. He's excellent at playing with his back to goal, but he's also direct when he needs to be. He also has one of the most powerful abilities in football, an ability that you would think was a prerequisite to all footballers, but it actually isn't. The ability is to use both feet. Can you go inside? Can you go outside? If the answer is yes, you're a far better footballer. And Zirkzee can do both. You find you a guy that can do both. Zirkzee is actually a gift that keeps giving. He could play instead of Rasmus Højlund, or he could play alongside Rasmus Højlund. Totally capable of playing as a lone centre-forward, totally capable of enhancing the performances of a centre-forward. Do you know what else he is? And this is exactly what Manchester United fans need to hear. He is Manchester United. When you think about the traditions of the club, when you think about what Manchester United represents, when you think about how Manchester United fans who sit in the Stretford End or anywhere in the world want the game to be played, there is a very specific, expressive way that they like to play the game. Seriously, it's applicable only to them. This belongs only to Manchester United. Think of all of their icons. What do they have in common? The word I'm going to use is flair. Doesn't matter whether it's Ryan Giggs, Eric Cantona, Lee Sharp, Andrei Kanchelskis, David Beckham, Dimitar Berbatov, Wayne Rooney, George Best, Sir Bobby Charlton. Manchester United, it goes hand in hand with the word flair, and this boy has it. He even speaks about his own desire to entertain, and when you have perfected your craft in those Cruyff cages, you can entertain, you can beat a man, you can drop a shoulder, you can find a nutmeg, you can use a step over, and I think he's going to have Manchester United fans on the edge of their seats. Listen up, just before we go any further, I need to tell you something truly exciting. This is wonderful news. 6th of August, next Tuesday, come to the Hippodrome in London's fashionable West End, in Leicester Square. Come and play a Poker Stars tournament. There is going to be everyone there. We're playing a meet-up game. It's an ambassadors meet-up game. There are going to be some fantastic prizes, and if you find Adam McCullough and tell him Rory said buy me a drink, he will have to buy you a drink. Doesn't matter how many times you say it, doesn't matter what drink you want. In fact, he has to buy you dinner as well. So come to the Hippodrome on the 6th of August. We'll be downstairs in Lola's from about 8 o'clock. It is going to be a wonderful evening. We'll play some poker, have some drinks, and I really do hope to see you there. It really is going to be iconic. Make sure that you come to the Hippodrome in Leicester Square on Tuesday the 6th of August at 8 p.m. We're all going to be there. We're going to be playing poker. We're going to have a wonderful time, and there's going to be some amazing prizes to be won. Really hope to see you down there. Come and join us. We'll be sensational. Cast your minds back to last season. How often did Manchester United struggle on the transition? Zirkzee could be that elusive link between midfield and attack, and his ability to weave in and out of tight spaces, to drop deep and start the attacks could really help Rasmus Højlund. Now look, I gave Rasmus Højlund a fair bit of stick last year. I don't think he played well enough. I don't think he was good enough. But if we try and understand it from his point of view, where was the service? Bruno Fernandes' creativity is never in question, but there isn't enough of that in the Manchester United side. Suddenly, the options, the creativity, the inventiveness is elevated. Imaginative footballers. They're a beautiful dying breed, and Zirkzee is most certainly one of them. Thiago Motta said something very interesting about Joshua Zirkzee. He said that his best position is a 9.5. And if we think about how Manchester United set up last year, it does make me wonder if Erik Ten Hag will amend his entire system to accommodate Zirkzee to play just behind Rasmus Højlund. Like, would Ten Hag actually divert away from the 4-2-3-1 and play 2 up front, Zirkzee and Højlund up front, shooting into the Stretford End? There is something exciting, if a little scary for Manchester United fans, about that prospect, I think. Would Bruno Fernandes potentially play a bit deeper to allow Zirkzee to play just off Rasmus Højlund? I'm not sure if moving Bruno Fernandes is the answer. Bruno Fernandes has been Manchester United's best player by a country mile for the past few years. So I'm not sure that's the answer, but Bruno Fernandes is a wonderful footballer who could do a job virtually anywhere on the pitch. So maybe. Basically, Ten Hag's got about 3 weeks to work it out. Zirkzee's debut will be against Fulham in the Premier League, and I think he is going to be explosive this year. What it means for Manchester United, what it means for Bruno Fernandes, what it means for Rasmus Højlund, we're going to find out very, very soon. But for the first time in a long time, annoyingly, it feels like Manchester United really are moving in the right direction. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, please click subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next video.